Nefyn is one of my favourite places to go spearfishing. It's absolutely awesome there. I don't really mind giving the mark away because, in a sense, I'm not really giving the mark away. There's so many different areas you can go, and it's a very, very big place. Now, most of it doesn't really hold a lot of fish, but there's very particular spots that do, and I'll leave it up to you to find them. Now, some of the approaches are quite tricky, as you see here, and that does put a lot of people off. Now, these clips are taken over the course of 2 different sessions. And you can see here I've started out some really, really shallow water looking for the bass. Now, in this sort of depth, it's pretty difficult to get yourself at a level where your fins don't stick up. This is only about 2.2, 2.3 meters or so. And you can see here I've used this kelp behind me to avoid my fins being silhouetted if they were to float up. Now, these shallows can be really productive for the bass if you stay nice and still and bury yourself as deep as you possibly can in the kelp. You can see there a couple of bass just cruise in about a metre below the surface. Back down again, and I pick up my second bass. There's 2 in 2 dives there. I thought I'd have a look for potentially some red mullet. Actually, I have shot red mullet at Nefyn, but I was mobbed by seals pretty quickly. And once these seals come in, they don't tend to go away. Yeah, that is generally it for the session once they're in. Unfortunately, you can actually see here a second seal turning up, and often at Nefyn there is a colony of them there. You'll see 2, 3, 4 seals at once. They come really close, and the speed and agility of these animals underwater is absolutely sensational. You know, 200, 300 kilo animal can just turn on a sixpence and move so fast. It really is quite amazing to watch. There's some awesome scenery there. It's a really nice place to go. Now, in the next clip, you'll see another one of the entry points to get to the good marks. I don't like to swim over a kilometre, so some of the entry points are quite awkward to get into. I think the clip doesn't really show how steep these rocks are. It's pretty awkward carrying all your spearfishing gear down this sort of steepness. Again, it's a nice calm lagoon here, but you can see there's quite a bit of swell here. Obviously this looks fairly calm, but the rest of it isn't. You can see here coming down some kelp with a really, really nice structure. A bit of a current sort of whistling past. Not many small fish hanging around, and what I find in these type of areas is the bass just drift along on the current, and they tend to come pretty quickly. So they'll be swimming a bit, the current's carrying them a bit, and you don't often have that much time to pick a shot off. You just got to wait and wait and wait, because you know those bass are coming past at some point. The shoals are prowling up and down the shoreline. I think you see one lone bass there that I start to track, and then a whole shoal just comes in, point blank range. I've nicked it through the spine. So let's break this shot down now. So on the surface of things, it just looks like terrible shooting. You see a decent bass, point blank range, and I've shot about 3 centimeters too high. But what's really happening here is the gun is connected to the float line, and the float is just being buffeted massively by the swell. This is how bad it was on this day, and the swell here is, perhaps as much as a metre. It really is quite big, and that's easily enough just to throw your shot off. And as I get out here, I got out just because the current was getting too strong, so I get swept away. And you can just see how much swell there is. It was quite dodgy getting out here, maybe not the best place to do it. So I found some slightly calmer water, and again just got nestled into the kelp. Some of these dives are quite long, so I think most of my dives in this session were about 1 minute 30, and a lot of them were pushing the 2 minute point before the bass turned up. Most in quite shallow water, actually. It makes it more comfortable. So you can see there, the bass hit, not the best shot, so it nicked it through the top, and I've gone down to grab the bass, make sure it doesn't get away, but a nice bass for the table. Then again here in really shallow water, you can tell how shallow it is by how the kelp is really being buffeted by the waves, and that can make shooting quite difficult, just when you're shooting at a moving target whilst your gun is just being buffeted all over the place. You really got to wait until those fish get pretty close, and you'll see here just how close I let the bass get before pulling the trigger. Wait, easy shot, can't miss. It's all about just waiting as long as you can. And then after these bass, I thought I'd go and look at the pollock. Now, I've gone a bit deeper here, you can see by the lack of kelp. This isn't that deep. It's interesting really, because at this mark, below 8 or 9 metres, you don't really seem to see any fish. And this is about 7 metres, I imagine. Bit less kelp, bit darker, not very deep. And there's all these pollock, and all these are about 25 centimetres. Yeah, there's the hundreds and hundreds of them in this clip, but just nothing that really approaches a shootable size. And we're down slightly deeper here, pretty much below the kelp line. This is about probably 10 to 11 metres or so. And these pollock are shootable. These are all about 35 to 40 centimetres. They're all big enough to shoot, but I don't quite like eating pollock enough just to pick one up for the sake of it. So I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting. Where are these pollock? All of these could be shot, eaten. Quite a nice baked whole at that sort of size. A really nice way to eat them, but just not big enough. So I let these go and look for a different spot for some slightly bigger fish. Now this clip, I've been on the bottom for quite a long time here, and it's not very deep. This is only about 5 metres, and interestingly, Welsh pollock do seem to like quite shallow water. Maybe it's just the mark that I dive. You can see a pollock here right in the background and waiting for it to come in. This is a much bigger one. I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting. I even look and see if there's any fish closer. Wait. And unfortunately you can't really see me hit it in the video, but that was a hit. That was a nice pollock. And this clip shows a much easier shot being presented. Yeah, pollock just drifts in through this kind of gully in the kelp. It's a pretty cool run that it comes in through. You can see it in the background there. And it's just going to cruise in slowly through that deeper gully. There it is, nice size pollock. And then perfect stone shot. Not really an excuse at that range not to get one. So I hope you enjoyed those clips. Nefyn really is a pretty special place to dive, and hopefully some of you will get yourselves down there next season and enjoy it there. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.